fascination, 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 fascination.
She's a Grammy-winning guitarist shaped by gospel and funk, whose work lives inside the music of icons and legends from Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic, Queen Latifah, Erykah Badu, Ariana Grande, Janet Jackson, Jay-Z, Common, Kanye West, and even the soundscape of the Destiny universe. A woman emerged through musical precision, reinvention, and the audacity to define herself. With the release of her debut solo album, 4-track Ephemera, and soon after, a daring body of work unlike anything she's released before, Tell a Beautiful Lie with Sound. She shows us how expansive identity can be when it's self-authored. Today, we're stepping into her world, one full of grease, groove, and grunge. Please help me welcome a creative force who has mastered again and again and again the art of becoming, Ella Feingold. Ella, thank you so much for joining me today. I know we've been trying so hard to get this interview on our schedules.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like we should start from the beginning. Where are you from? How was your upbringing? What was childhood like for you?
I was born in Swampscott, Massachusetts, which is next to Salem, like where the witch trials were. So that has a crazy history. And it was cool growing up there, basically New England, like on the ocean. So it was great to grow up on the water and great to grow up with like that history, even though it's a crazy history. I mean, I was always enthralled by music.
At what age?
Preschool.
Okay.
Like I remember having Michael Jackson on vinyl record, and I can't remember if it was Thriller or Off the Wall or something. But yeah, I remember that being the like intoxicated with rhythm, not knowing that I wanted to be a musician, but just like, wow, this feels like otherworldly and really, really good. And I do think it's kind of cool that like all of these years later, from preschool to 44, that the thing that excited me the most about music, which was rhythm, is like my life, you know, what I love doing and the artists that I love performing with and working with and stuff like that. So it's kind of a cool like bookend story. It wasn't like an intentional thing, you know, because life takes you on all these different roads, and usually the thing you're excited about in preschool is not going to be what you're excited about at 44.
Mm-hmm.
When I play guitar or music, I envision a band in front of me or someone dancing or just something. Like I use my imagination, you know. And so I'm lucky that I didn't lose that from a kid, because, you know, when you grow up, it's like you lose so much of things that were like magical, you know, they're like not magical anymore because you grow up and you realize the world is different than, you know, how you experience it when you're little. So, you know, I was able to hold on to my imagination and rhythm, and a lot has changed since then, but like that has never changed, you know. I'm 44 and I grew up kind of in the grunge era, you know, like 1991 was Kurt Cobain and Nirvana and Smells Like Teen Spirit and MTV. And that was just a new wave of music that came after the like 80s hair metal and like Guns N' Roses and Skid Row and all that stuff, which I also loved when I was a kid. But when that music came, it felt more like this is my generation's music. And that felt like an invitation to like, yeah, I want to learn how to play and actually like contribute something to music, as opposed to just having posters of musicians on the wall and being like, oh, that's so cool. And rather than it being a fantasy, having it become like a real tangible thing. So I remember like friends of mine had instruments, and my parents were just not getting me an instrument. I don't think that they wanted to deal with the noise factor. And I think probably the like, is this a passing, like, is this going to stick? Is she really going to stick with guitar? Or is it just going to be like, we're going to invest in an instrument And then in a year, she's going to do something else or something like that. So I think it was both of those things. And I remember I got my first guitar in 1992. I was in New York City and my grandfather bought it, for Hanukkah. I didn't know I wanted to play guitar when I was enthralled by music as a kid. Guitar, I don't know how I landed on it. I was watching the movie La Bamba. It's the story of Richie Valens, 50s singer in the 50s who tragically passed away in a plane crash with Buddy Holly. And seeing that movie, that definitely made me want to play guitar as well as like the grunge era. I started studying with this guy, Spanky Alford. He was a mentor to me. I was like 22. I was still in college. Went down to Huntsville, Alabama to study with him for a couple of weeks. And
so you were the one who initiated.
Yeah, he wasn't like a legit teacher like at a university or anything. He was teaching locally in Alabama when he wasn't on tour. And it was more just like a hobby, just kind of like, cool, I'm home for 2 months. I'll take some students, that kind of thing. And he just taught me a lot. He had a special way of playing music. I don't know. It's kind of like, when you are lucky enough to apprentice with somebody and you're just like, they're just different than most people. You know what I mean? I learned tangible things, but also like just, how do I want to say this? Like non-musical things, just like generosity and kindness. And not that I didn't have those things, but I realized like that was a big part of why he played the way he did and the kind of musician he was because of how good he was as a person and not just like, cool, here's a cool thing he does on the guitar. It was also like his heart and all of that. So that was important for me to learn. He told me that when I got back to Boston, that I should join like an African-American Pentecostal church where they speak in tongues. And he's like, it'll really get a lot of things together for you. Like that's a thing that's sort of missing. I think it was soul. I think it was instinct. I think it was understanding a different lived experience than the one I was living. I think it was a vocabulary I didn't have. I think it was ear training because, a lot of Black church, it's not, and not that I grew up this way either, but it's not like, oh, here's the sheet music for you to learn. I mean, it's just like happening in the moment and you have to react almost like jazz music, in a sense with improvisation. I mean, these are songs, but there's a lot of chord changes and like things moving quickly and you can't be super precious and overanalyze these things. You just kind of have to react to them. So playing in church definitely got a lot of that, together for me, for sure.
What was your first big break?
I mean, the first big thing that I ever did was auditioning for Britney Spears. I didn't get the gig, but that allowed me to get the gig with Queen Latifah because the musical director that I auditioned for, this was like 2002, maybe, I think. He, I beat everybody out in the audition except for the guy that got the gig and this other amazing guitar player. And he was surprised, because he didn't know me. And I think he was just doing a friend a favor by letting me audition, kind of just like, let her just go through the process of it. Like she'll never get the gig. Like let her just know what it feels like for an audition is kind of what it was. And, I beat everybody out. And
why did they assume that you weren't going to get the gig?
Because I wasn't living in LA and I was an unknown. He had never heard me play before. He didn't know me. When you have a big gig, a lot of times it's just knowing that they can trust you with money in the sense of like, okay, Ella might be a great guitar player. Can we trust her to go on this tour and that she will show up on time and play a good show and not ruin a $2 million production or whatever? So a lot of it is just like the trust and the experience.
I got a great question for you, actually.
Sure.
Where does sound begin for you? Is it in your fingertips, in your head, out in nature, or in the music you listen to?
I just think a lot of it is like an internal feeling. and then it matching, like your fingers or your voice or whatever your instrument is, like matching what you're hearing here first. A lot of times doesn't mean I don't do music that's left to chance where I'm comfortably like sliding my hands around and just finding things. But I'd say in general with like rhythm and a lot of that stuff, it's like I hear it, which is kind of the beginning of our conversation where I'm like, I imagine a band or I hear a band playing in my head. And then I'm playing guitar along to the band that I'm hearing in my head. So I think it's internal.
So you've orchestrated for video games. You've arranged for Ariana Grande. You played for Silk Sonic. And you've also, you're backed up by so many legends like Erykah Badu.
Stalking me, girl?
Erykah Badu.
Yes, ma'am.
Charlie Hunter as well. And Spanky.
Yeah.
How do you adapt between languages so fluidly?
Well, it depends when it's my own music, like collaborating with Charlie versus helping someone else. I would say I like helping people in general. So it's easy to kind of adapt because it's not my music. So I can kind of get a sense of what it wants to be, if that makes sense. Kind of like when you see those home makeover shows and stuff, or like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, you know what I mean? Or those kinds of things. And it's like, you're just like, oh no, sweetheart, like this is a mess and you need to do this and do that and all that shit. It's like working with other artists sometimes. It's a weird analogy, but it's like you can see something that they can't see. It's a blind spot.
Correct.
And I'm not trying to say that I know someone's music better than they do. I'm not saying that, but it's like there may be a particular aspect that's a blind spot for them. So I just think it's easier when it's not your own music because you're not as precious about it. When it's your own music, it's like you're living all of it. There's emotions behind the sounds. When you're called in to play for somebody, you might not necessarily be thinking about the emotion that it took for them to record a particular part. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like my album, which is not done, I'm second guessing everything. It's like, I feel like I need an outside perspective. And it's like, I almost need somebody to just be like, Ella, it's wonderful. It's going to be fine. You're overthinking it, sweetheart. Like, it's fine. Leave it alone, you know?
Okay.
It's like in life. Sometimes we just need to be affirmed. Like, this is great. You're overthinking it. It's wonderful. And sometimes with session work or whatever it is, like sometimes it is a little bit of that, of just like, there's times where I'll just tell an artist, like, I don't think this song needs me. I don't think you like that guitar part you played is great. There were times during Silk Sonic where Bruno would send me stuff, and there were a few times where he's just like, can you replay this better? And I'm like, I can technically replay it better, but like what you did is so cool and it's you and it's your feel.
How do you know when you've reached a sweet spot or when you've arrived? How do you know when to let go?
When it's my own music, you second guess, like, does this need a better part? Should I lengthen? You know, you kind of just go through all of the indecisive decisions that, you know, maybe that you have in regular life. Should I wear this? Is this too dressy? Is this too slutty? Is this too cute? Like, you kind of just go through the things because you care so much, where someone else could come in and be like, Ella, this is killing. Leave it alone. Don't, like, perfect example, like with my friend Johnny Marr, I sent him a song on the new album. And in my eyes, it was done. And he's like, Ella, this is great. He's like, my only comment is like, it just leaves me wanting more. I wish it was twice as long. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely intentional that a lot of my music is not crazy long, that it does like kind of leave you wanting more. But in the case of that song, when Johnny and I were talking, it was like, yeah, he's right. It sort of just feels like it hasn't said everything that it wanted to say.
Who is your go-to person for that?
He's kind of my go-to person because, I mean, He's a fucking legendary musician. You know, he formed the Smiths and he's been in so many amazing bands. But more than anything, aside from the fact of who he is, like, he just has like impeccable taste as a person, like the way he dresses and the guitars he plays and just taste. And so I tend to go towards people where I respect their taste. You know, he just happens to be famous, but if he didn't, he's my friend who just like, he'd be like my friend who just has a great record collection and has really great ideas.
So talk to me about different strokes for different boats.
That happened as a result of, you know, Charlie Hunter and I being friends. I've always looked up to Charlie. Honestly, it's like a dream come true. I never thought I would make a record with one of my heroes.
You knew of Charlie before you even met him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Charlie is and was a famous musician. And, you know, I listened to him a lot in the 90s. He had records out on like Blue Note and stuff. And I remember more than anything that struck me, I mean, aside from him playing a very unique kind of instrument, was just like how funky he was. And again, like the rhythm thing of bringing me back to Michael Jackson in preschool. He just had such great rhythm and feel. I've always admired him. We became friends a couple of years ago, and he's like, yo, we got to do a record together. And in the beginning, for like a good 6 months or something, I thought that was the coolest thing of like, he wants to make a record with me. Oh man, that's crazy. And I've never put out a record.
Right.
I'm just really proud of it. A lot of people like it, and that means a lot. You know, we keep getting comments from people, you know, how much the record means to them. But for me, it's like just that I got to make a record with one of my heroes for selfish reasons. And also doing that record to kind of parlay into my solo record. Collaborating with Charlie really taught me not to be overly precious about music.
You've expressed to me personally that throughout your entire musical career that you've always built many artists, right? You've always been in the background. And this is the first time after 20 plus years of having been in the industry that you finally get to claim and create something off and as your own. Why? What has that experience been like? And how do you feel about everything so far?
Why? Because I have something to say. And it's been a beautiful and terrifying journey. I mean, I can tell you the music that I'm working on now that hasn't been released, it's like, you know, there's sort of an element of like dysphoria or body dysmorphia. Yeah. So I'm just saying that a lot of times, because it's so raw and precious and vulnerable, there's times when I feel like, okay, I can see this. It's beautiful. And then there's other times I'm like, wow, this is ugly. I don't think I should put it out. And I know it's not ugly, but it's just in the moment I'm overthinking something or I'm scared. I think to be a good artist, like, you have to be fearful of things and wonder, you know, if it's any good, because I feel like if you're always confident, then you're kind of being a hack and you're just relying on skill. You're just relying on like, oh, I'm David Bowie. I know I can give them another Let's Dance. But Bowie's Bowie because he's like, well, fuck you. You're not getting Let's Dance because I already gave you Let's Dance. I'm giving you something totally different. I'm giving you whatever, Ziggy Stardust, or fuck you. I gave you Ziggy Stardust. I'm giving you Black Star, and I'm hiring jazz musicians. He sort of describes it as like, you know, going out into the water and like getting to the point where you might drown. You don't drown, you don't want to drown, but it's like, it's where it gets too deep and you're like concerned, but it's like, that's where you kind of, when you push yourself, where you kind of break new ground.
We live in a world that tells so many people that they're not enough. I'm here to tell you that you are.
Let's talk about your womanhood.
Okay. Well, I've always known who I was, but there wasn't really a word for it back then.
I have had my nose broken. I have been thrown in jail. I have lost my job. Revolution!
I think back then they just would have thought you were like, something's wrong with you. And I'm very confident that my parents would have loved me and supported me no matter what. But coming out as a trans kid in like 1985 or something, I think I just would have been ostracized and homeschooled. And,
I can't imagine.
I never presented female. I mean, I would like wear my mom's clothes or my sister's clothes when I'd leave the house and get like intense fucking euphoria. But no, I knew who I was really, really early. I mean, 5, 6 years old or something. I just knew that wasn't the right body. I knew I wasn't a boy. I knew the things I had to do with sports I hated. I felt more like protected by men, and that felt good, than like being a guy and having to be tough. And
Right.
just none of it made sense ever. It always just felt like having to wear boys' clothes. It just felt like a costume. You know what I mean?
Did you have a language for it though?
No, I didn't have language for it. It was something I always felt. And even if I had the language for it, I wouldn't have brought it up to my parents, because it's not something I wanted anyone to know back then.
Was that what was holding you back for almost 40
Yeah.
years?
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the shift for you? Was it seeing someone on screen? Did you just wake up one day and decided that today is the day, or how
Well,
initially?
I mean, initially, like, I had seen some trans people like in real life. There weren't a lot of us out there other than like on a Jerry Springer show, But I knew, later in life, I was like, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
That's me,
And what year was this? 2019? 2020?
When I personally transitioned,
Yeah.
I think it was 2019.
Do you mind sharing with me the goods, the bads, the in-betweens?
The goods are getting to wake up as me every day, looking in the mirror and like looking back on the camera, and, and just being like, yeah, this is me. I'm a girl next door, country girl, overalls. I see myself in a relationship with a man like that. Emotionally makes the most sense to me and makes me feel like at home. But attraction wise, I think trans girls are gorgeous. Like, yeah. But with men, no, I see a cute guy with like some tattoos and like, a short beard or something. Yeah. And I just want to like jump on top of them and like melt. So women don't do that for me. Sorry.
What are you struggling with as a trans woman? What are you trying to overcome and learn? And what does the future look like for you, musically and also personally?
I think what I'm dealing with now with the bad side of being trans is like, I don't want to die alone.
I did not expect that.
Yeah. So.
Because I never think of that, to be honest. I
do.
don't usually think of that at all.
Oh, I do.
And there is definitely a high likelihood that will happen.
I had 2 panic attacks over it the other day. I thought I was having a literal heart attack. Yeah, it causes me a lot of fear. Yeah, it's weird to just feel so admired by a lot of people, and like every day somebody tells me I'm like inspiring them or something, and it's cool. Like it feels good. But it's complex. I mean, the whole trans stuff with men is that like there's men that I talk to daily and they're married and they don't do anything inappropriate. They're not, I wouldn't allow that. But it's like you can tell, I know they're attracted to me. I know it. They compliment me And I know it's like they get to live the fantasy by being extra kind. And I'm not being delusional, like, oh, some
No, no,
guys
no,
are
no, no.
nice and
I
you.
do agree with you. And I understand that very well. And it honestly can cause rage in you at times where, you'll have like you'll harbor resentment and rage, and that
Yeah.
sometimes you want to be appreciated and loved and desired
Mhm.
for who you are as a human first.
Mhm.
Okay. And the struggle with being trans is getting people to actually see beyond that. What is next for you? And what are you looking forward to in your future? Do you have any new projects coming up? Orchestrations? Fun?
Yeah. Well, I recorded like 45 minutes of music in Memphis. It was an intense experience. I'm really proud of what I wrote. And I'm just kind of living that music now, just chipping away at it, working on it, mixing it, remixing it, adding things to it, taking things away, living with it, coming back to it. So there's that. And I mean, I just told myself this year that this was the year I devote to my own music. So I turned down Sam Smith for a big, long residency.
Well,
It wasn't an easy decision to make, but I know that I would have been, you know, doing other people's music for a long time. And I just want to write, and I just feel like, when am I going to devote myself to my own music? Like when I'm retired? Like when I'm 70? Like when do I get to do it? So I have enough money saved up, not a ton, but enough where I can afford to take some gambles, some chances, and write my own music for a while and just really cultivate my own artistry and my own image, which I'm finding, I'm embracing different things. So that's kind of what I'm doing, what I'm, excited about.
do you have any expectation of this like individual or solo path that you're currently undertaking? Like, what is the goal for you?
I want to learn how to sing.
Mm.
I want to learn how to sing and write songs and sing over them and just have a voice that really connects with people. So that's a dream of mine, which I don't know how to do now. Um, I want to just keep writing music till I can't anymore. And it's, one of my favorite things to do. And I would say it would be nice if I could at least not lose money when I make my own music, like maybe just break even.
Yeah.
I mean, the dream would be to be able to make enough money to live off of my own music and then just be more choosy in what I want to do with other people's music.
I love this era for you though, that you're
Yeah.
like prioritizing your music, you as a person, that you're willing to give up such a big gig with Sam Smith in order to focus on this. I wouldn't call it a risk per se, but it does say a lot about where you are in your musical career at this moment, where, you are really saying like, damn, Ella, it's Ella's time kind of thing.
I mean, yeah, playing music for other people, it's a gift, but it's a seduction if you're trying to do your own thing, because it's always this seduction of, come, you'll make money with this artist, you'll play on stage for thousands of people, you'll do this, and it's a seduction. And there are things in music that get tiring, like being on tour, or maybe I've played too much of this kind of music, I'm feeling like I want to do this kind of stuff for a while. Like that kind of stuff within music will get tiring. But music itself doesn't. Like where I am right now, to be transparent, is like everyone knows me for funk and rhythm guitar, and that doesn't get tiring, but there's other things I want to experiment with and learn and grow and bring them back. Yeah.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for your
Of
time
course.
today.
Thank
I
you for
had
having
so
me.
much fun talking to you.
Likewise.
Why don't you leave us with a one-liner? Give us something to think about, won't you? You can take your time with this. Anything.
It's better to understand than to be understood.
Ooh.